appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. You're not going to agree with everything that I say tonight, because respectful disagreement is essential to the function of government. You might not agree with most of it. You won't agree with every post I make. Maybe you'll disagree with the people I support or associates I've had. Maybe you disagree with my core values, my religious belief, or some of the solutions I want to bring forward. I have no expectations for you to agree with me on anything, and no expectations for your support. Though I have hopes, you will disagree with me, the person next to you, neighbors, co-workers, and you will and should support who you choose to support. But in my opinion, that is one of the most beautiful rights we still have today. The right to disagree, the right to express that disagreement, and the right to support who we choose, even when others disagree with that. Even if we disagree with some of the standpoints they have. You will disagree. And I want you to. Believe it or not, disagreement is extraordinarily fundamental and important for success anywhere. Not just the disagreement, not just fighting for your side, but your willingness to hear the other side, to take those opposing views, listen politely, and actually use that input to reach common ground solutions. There are things you'll disagree with, but I'd bet you'd probably agree with about 80% of the core issues today that need to be resolved. Disagreement often lies in the how. Imagine how much stronger our communities would be if we stopped seeing disagreement as the enemy and started treating it as a starting point for better ideas. That shift in perspective is what I ask of you tonight. There is one thing I want you to walk away agreeing on today. The one thing I have control over. I will listen to your disagreement. I will listen to your agreement. I will use it to find common ground solutions. Your opinion, your viewpoint is just as important as mine. Arguably, far more important when I'm seeking to represent you. That is why I'm here tonight, to make that very clear. If you leave with anything from this meeting, let it be this. There's a candidate out there who will put you first, listen to everything you say without condition, one who genuinely cares to let your voice be heard as loud as it can. Those of you here today, maybe family, friends, classmates, coworkers, neighbors, or complete strangers. If you don't know me, you're probably asking, who's this guy? If you do know me, you're still probably asking, what is he running for? Does he stand a chance? Or is this pointless? Does he know what he's doing? Why would I stand behind him? What makes him better than any other candidate out there? My name is Gary Judkins. I'm running as an independent for Minnesota District 12B because I believe our district deserves new, fresh, accountable voice. A representative who puts people first. I don't know every reason each of you decided to be here tonight, but I'm genuinely glad you're here. Tonight is simple. It's an opportunity for you to meet me, hear my voice directly, and understand why I've chosen to run. After this introduction, we'll open up for questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, whatever's on your mind. I really want to hear from you. I've lived in Minnesota nearly my whole life. Raised in Alexandria. I'm a husband, a father, 2 young daughters, with another child on the way. Family is everything to me. My own childhood was not picture perfect. My family has served time in prison, struggled with mental health issues, and seen struggles and victories. At age 5, I was taken from my mom. I entered foster care, and thankfully, my aunt took me in. I grew up next door to my grandparents. I was raised with strong Christian values, including the importance of caring for others, listening to people who can't always speak for themselves, and showing compassion, even when it's hard. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents at their home. They run a senior foster care locally. I've helped with their garden and visited often with the seniors. Honestly, the best part was being around the seniors, hearing their stories, seeing their joy, learning from their lives and experiences. That shaped me. It taught me the dignity of caregiving and why every person, no matter age or ability, deserves respect and a voice. I also grew up loving and spending time with 2 uncles with disabilities. Those relationships showed me very personally that everyone matters, that we have a responsibility make sure people who are often overlooked are heard and protected. As a young adult, my focus was solely on building the family I have today. I spent years looking and finding the right wife and starting a family and kids. Now, with young kids and another on the way, I've realized my focus needs to expand once more, back to service in the community, while still being the strongest provider and father I can. I want my daughters to look back and be proud of what their dad stood for, the actions he took, and the difference he tried to make. Professionally, I've managed local retail and small businesses. I've served local nonprofits and volunteered multiple times throughout the community. That has given me real experience, public service, and community support, turning priorities into programs that actually help people. Local governing experience matters. It's how you deliver results for real families and neighbors. When was the last time you felt your everyday concerns, your family, your work, your future, were truly understood and represented, not just talked about in political banter? For years, I stayed on the sidelines. I watched as our communities were torn by violence, division, constant noise of two-party, more interested in scoring points than solving problems. Minnesota and our country has grown more divided with every major event. Each tragedy, each policy fight, every party line threat is another weapon for the two parties to blame, divide, demonize, and attack each other. Both sides turn real pain and real problems into partisan fuel. One side would accuse the other of enabling lawlessness and extremism. The other would accuse the other of stoking hatred and ignoring injustice. Sad part here, you could put either party on either side of that and you'd still be telling the truth. Think about that. How both sides, you can point the same exact finger at each other and both be right. That's not politics working for you. That's politics breaking. When I saw tragedies being spun into talking points, and I saw elected officials choosing party loyalty over people, common ground being replaced with name-calling, I watched the wedge widen. Violence, polarization, dehumanization, real solutions get buried under anger and division. This cycle of blame, hatred, and political narrative over service to people is exactly what pushed me to finally run. Serving local nonprofits and deepening my community ties, I've seen firsthand how many people feel underrepresented at every level. I've seen the frustration. I've seen the violence, the polarization. I've seen a system that sidelines independent voices and punishes compromise. I've seen truth and solutions often live in the middle. The politics and media reward outrage instead. How many times have you turned on the news, scrolled through your feed, and felt like the loudest voices were drowning out the ones that really matter? The quiet, practical ones right in our neighborhood. Our district and our state need people who will step up, focus on common ground solutions, reject extremism and dehumanization from all sides, and unite against the two-party wedge that's tearing us apart. We need somebody without party loyalty. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a career politician. I'm a lifelong district resident. I'm a neighbor, a husband, a father, a community servant with practical hands-on experience, managing local businesses, working in public sales, serving nonprofits, volunteering throughout the community, and years of direct advocacy and public-facing work. Someone raised on compassion and service. I spent years listening to overlooked voices in everyday citizens. I am driven by a love for my family, my community, and the belief that we can do better. That background has taught me to listen, bridge differences, and get things done. Not from a career politician's perspective, but from the lived experience of our neighbors. I'm running as an independent because I can no longer watch our communities tear themselves apart. Seeking common ground and rejecting polarization delivers real benefits for all of us. Economically, extreme division breeds policy uncertainty. Practical, nonpartisan approaches, listening to all sides, crafting middle ground solutions on taxes, regulations, and spending, cuts that uncertainty. In these divided times, this isn't optional. It's essential for growth. Beyond the economy, it means a legislator that actually works. Key issues like schools, roads, healthcare, and mental health get focused attention instead of held hostage to political banter. When tragedy hits, we lead with condolences and follow with collaborative prevention and support. Public trust can be rebuilt through visible progress, not endless arguing. This restores dignity to public service. Legislation prioritizes results over scoring points. Budgets would reflect shared priorities. Bills would pass because they make sense for Minnesota, not because one side won. Policies would become responsive, fair, and human, rooted in real listening. The policies I advocate for are not set in stone. They're adaptable. They're part of a solution. And your input, your experiences, your priorities are the other part. That is how real change happens. Not from one person, but from all of us building together. This office was never intended to be reserved for people with long political residence. It was built for the average citizen to step up, represent their neighbors, and make a difference. In 2010, our current representative was elected in large part because she was an engaged everyday citizen, not a career politician. I'm simply asking for that same courtesy. Give me the same chance to serve District 12B. Public service is designed to be temporary, not a lifelong career. Regularly welcoming new voices strengthens accountability, prevents stagnation, and keeps the government connected to real life. Long incumbencies narrow your opportunity for everyday citizens to be heard and limits fresh ideas. We cannot have true representation and career politicians occupying the same seat at the same time, especially with party loyalty. I won't make this a lifelong. I stand for new representation, measurable progress, and returning this office to its intended purpose. I'm running because our district deserves a relatable representative who listens to every family, every neighbor, and every community member, even those who don't fit neatly inside the two major parties, especially those with varying views. How many people show up, how much support I receive, whether I win or not, doesn't change why I'm here. I'm stepping up because representatives must work to bridge the divide and come to solutions as a team. That's just not happening. I'm tired of the constant blame, the demonizing, and political games from both sides. I believe the best solutions often lie directly in the middle. That requires leaders willing to meet there. I will bring accessibility, accountability, and action. I will listen to everyone, regardless of belief or party. I will pursue practical common ground solutions. I respect Mary Franson and her legislative experience, but I offer something different, a fresh perspective, lived experience from everyday life in our district, and a firm commitment to never use dehumanizing rhetoric. I'm not running for a political career. I'm running to serve. I reject polarization and outrage as tools of policy. I will defend our democratic republic norms and choose restraint over spectacle. Seek common ground over total victory. Here's where I stand clear. I will be a voice of reason, not a predictable vote for either party. When legislation comes from Republicans, Democrats, or Independents, and it clearly benefits the people of District 12B and Minnesota, reflects our strong priorities, and comes after consistent input from constituents, I will support it, no matter who proposes it. What matters is delivering real results for our district and state, not winning partisan battles. It's time to end the arguing, belittling, hatred, and division, and start moving forward together. If you want a representative who reflects everyday life here, listens to all voices, and acts with humility and respect, I'm ready to serve. I want to thank you again for being here tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing what's on your mind. Let's open it up for discussions. I would love to hear questions, concerns, whatever you want to discuss. I'll do my best to answer as I can and talk openly. So, thank you very much.